At the tubes, the last quick video, could have been the first quick video I've seen of me, I don't know. I don't do a lot of these, I always intend to. I need to apologise to Team Chav. They had won 3 random games. Technically I could do it now, but time is of the essence. Football is probably started and I'm missing it as it is. So I'm probably really going to upset them, but I'm going to go with the cameraman, the dildo, not the dongo, the dildo, Lee, RetrogamerAddict. He did a vid, and I did say to him, look, if I get time and if I remember, I'll do it. So I have got time, and I have remembered. So I think it was. It gets a bit confusing because I think is it 3 things or 4 things that the VR's about? Basically, it's a movie, music or an album, a game, and then I think they've started adding on food. I think you're on death row or something. I can't remember. It's something like that anyway. I watched Welsh Steve's one. That's quite funny, and he picked out a cracking 80s movie that I had sort of forgotten about. And when I said it in the background, I thought, I remember that bloody game, and I didn't remember that game. I remember that movie, and I didn't realise he was going to use that as his choice. So anyway, a VR. Don't do any VRs. So VR to RetrogamerAddict Lee. Death Row. 3 things /4. You know, your last choices. So the movie I've picked, and it's always been couldn't be always because it obviously fucking come out when after I was born. But my choice of movie is Stand By Me.
You know,
I absolutely love everything about that film. The music, the era that it was set in, the characters. It encapsulated a lot of, you know, that sort of coming of age or going through a journey that some of us may or may not have had, you know, as kids. Absolutely love that film. I can watch that movie and never get bored of it. So music. So I'm not really a big music fan. I don't really talk. You probably know I don't talk a great deal about music. I've never been to a concert thing or whatever. It doesn't. I like music, you know, and you know, I can appreciate it and stuff like that. So people say, "Oh, what music are you into?" I'm one of these weirdos that says all sorts, because I am. I don't, you know, I don't define myself by my musical tastes. But I'm going to pick this sort of album, if you like, purely based on nostalgia, which seems where I'm always driven by anyway. And it's like I can't remember what the word it is. I don't know if it's the greatest hits or the best of or whatever, but it's the Drifters. Yeah, old fogey. And the reason for that is we used to listen to that with my mate John. We used to go to Skegness, and his dad was really into it. And that's literally how I got it. His dad wanted to listen to it, so we got forced to listen to it. But you know, as journeys and visits to Skegness sort of grew, you kind of assimilate that music to the good times and to the, you know, the less stressful and you know, just easier times, man. So, and you know, when I go back and listen to some of them, the old Drifters tracks, it just literally takes me away, really does. So yeah, so the best of the Drifters. I'll try and chop bits of whatever in here without getting a strike. Not everyone's bag, but that's my choice. So the game. I watched Steve's video and he basically said what I was going to say, and to be honest, I was an avid player of World of Warcraft because that game would never end. You know, hopefully I'd never get executed. There's a bit of a cop out though. But if there's one game that, you know, I wanted to play that would remind me, or you know, what you would enjoy, or whatever. I don't know, because like I say, I'm driven quite heavily by nostalgia. Anyway, and it would be Double Dragon, the arcade version. And the reason for that is it was one of the very first sort of games. So when I used to go to Skegness with my mate John, and there's this arcade called Sheila's in Ingermalls. For them that know Skeg either, or Skeg Vegas or whatever, you had Skegness town. You had like a smaller, and I'm guessing it was probably started up as a village. Where Butlins is, it's called Ingermalls. When we first went, when I used to go along, and John's family very kindly took me along with them. It's saying a chalet on this like park or whatever you want to call it, and they had like a local music one. It's called Sheila's Arcade. So the ongoing joke with John was, because obviously I got into video games, retro gaming. Oh, have you built Sheila's yet? Have you recreated Sheila's? It was called Sheila's. I think it's since been probably flattened and called something else or whatever. I can't remember now. I think last time he said to me it ended up being called a nightclub, but I don't know. But anyway, within Sheila's, they had literally all the classics: Shinobi, Double Dragon, Outrun, Pac-Man, all the literally, and it was a sound, it was the smell, noise, everything. It attacked your senses. But I always remember hearing Shinobi music and Double Dragon. And Double Dragon was one of the first ones, one of the very earliest memories. I remember of John and myself sort of playing two players, and him having a pocket full of change, and he was determined to complete the game, and he was just pumping money into it, like two players sort of thing. So yeah, great times. And Double Dragon in the arcades, even people cite soundtracks, you always sort of say your Outruns and stuff like that, but Double Dragon's a very iconic soundtrack. And yeah, poor Craig's here against that. I'm absolutely atrocious at it. But that run, I had a faulty pad. Still maintain that to this day. So I do believe it's only M3, but I don't know how it's morphed into your Last Supper kind of thing. I don't know. And Steve, I'm not going to do. What did he have? Like chips, cheese, and gravy. Fucking Welsh people eat some weird shit, man. For me, it'd either be a Sunday roast, or it's got to be a nice Chinese curry, or an Indian. If you're going to go out, you might as well go out on fire, because it'll get burnt anyway. What about a nice fucking hot stinking vindaloo? I don't know. With copious amounts of beer, there you go, that'll do it. But yeah, go and check the vids, the first vid from Lee anyway, and then the subsequent vids from, I think the other one I've seen so far is from Welsh Steve. But a great little idea. And sorry Team Chav, I know I was going to do the 3 random games. I think it's, that one's been and gone now. Look, we're on to new ground here. You've got to come up with new ideas, mate. Your cameraman surpassed you already, so you need to get on the ball. But that's it. I'm going to go now, because I need to get on and watch the football. Take it easy, the tubes, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye-bye.